So today I'm doing a video that I didn't really think I wanted to do, but it keeps going around in my mind and I keep making notes about it, so I thought I better try to put it together and see if I can make a video out of it. So I hope you'll join me. Hey everyone, it's Melissa. This is a video I've been thinking about, and it's sort of occurred to me that what I was needing to start to do, I didn't realize that I needed to. And that is giving myself some affirmation, some self-affirmation. I had done videos and worked on things like doing ASMR for fear and doing physical things, and I had talked about it, and I thought, okay, I've talked about and done all the videos that I need to do about entering my 70s and making the best life that I can. You know, I have talked in previous videos about how to stay interesting in things, interesting in your life, and finding hobbies and finding, friends, doing all these things that are positive things. But I didn't talk about maybe the most important thing that I needed to work for, and that is to quit being mentally negative toward myself. I have always done this. I had a very critical mother, so I would, if anything would go wrong, I always blame myself. I would look in the mirror and say, your hair looks bad. To myself, I would say, oh, your eyebrows are ugly. Oh, your dress is that. Oh, this or that. But then I would laugh about it. I'm kind of a, easygoing person. So I'd kind of laugh about it and go on about my business. And, I did this for years. I was busy. I had other things to do. I was working. I was going through a divorce. I was going through a remarriage. I was raising kids, and all the time I just thought that I was stupid, and I would tell myself, in my mind, if I made a wrong turn, you're so stupid. Looked in the mirror. It was a lot of it was looking in the mirror, just like, rolling my eyes at myself and calling myself names because I just never had any self-confidence. And so, I was fine with that. I'm an idiot. Okay, fine. And going on about my life. Now, I've always been able to build up others, but I've never been able to, even in my own private mind and heart, I've never been able to build myself up. And I think that's inviting a lot of negativity into my life. I think the way that you talk to yourself or feel about yourself can even affect your health. Maybe all the negativity and all the ugly talk and the almost self-loathing that I had about myself, maybe it contributed to my always having, Crohn's disease, breast cancer, this vasculitis that I have asthma. I don't think it helps. It may not be the root cause, but I don't think it helps any. And so I finally realized this past, actually pretty recently, I've got to change the mindset and the way I talk to myself and feel about myself. Now, I think it might be a little normal the way I feel, and some of you may feel this way too, that women that are my age, and I do think it's especially more prevalent for Southern women, that had mothers that wanted you to be perfect, wanted you to be the cheerleader, wanted you to be popular, and wanted you to, my mother would even try to get me to stuff my bra. And when my hair turned dark when I was a little girl, she started, secretly putting bleach in it to keep it blonde. She wanted me to be a certain way. She had this image. And so I always fell short. And that self-loathing that I fell short, that's when it started. And, I think a lot of women during that time had mothers like that. They just wanted us to be perfect, and they had this little mold that they wanted us to fit into. And I was always taught that my feelings didn't matter, it's what others felt about me that mattered. It's what others' opinion and what would others think that mattered, not what I thought about myself. So, you carry that with you in your whole life. So I've been thinking about it, and I've been trying to do some self-affirmation as much as I can. Now, I'll never be able to look into a mirror and say, girl, you're pretty. Girl, you look good. I'll never be able to do that. Your hair looks great today, or your eyeshadow, or your eyes, or eyebrows, or anything, they're on fire. I'll never be able to do that. But if I cannot bring the negativity in, I think it will help me with feeling like, I'm sometimes a worthless person. And so I've been trying to do a few things and making a few notes that I thought I would share with you. Now, some of them may not make sense to you, and it may make sense to others, but it's kind of helped me. The first thing I've done is every night when I get in bed, I take my Glytone exfoliating body lotion and I put it on I start with my legs, and I tell my legs, you are strong, you are mighty. I tell my blood vessels that are suffering from vasculitis, you're strong blood vessels. And the whole time I'm rubbing lotion on them, and I'm telling my blood vessels, you're strong, you will pump your blood properly, you will act properly, these legs will carry you through life, these legs will walk you towards your grandchildren, these legs will cook dinners, be able to stand and cook dinners for your family, clean your house, whatever these legs need me to do, I tell them they can do it. And I tell you, since I've started doing that, I haven't had a bout of vasculitis. Now, I've been wearing the compression, but still, it doesn't hurt. I think it might help. I remember when my mother had cancer, I would tell her, now, when the medicine is going into your body, try to picture it going to the bad cancer cells and killing those, but leaving your healthy cells alone. Try to picture that in your mind, Mom. Always do that. I don't know whether she did or not, but I would always tell her to do that. And it's the same thing, I think, to tell your body to do these things. I think a lot of happiness, positive things, looking for the good things in life, it begins up here in your brain. And I think your brain can really help you to heal a lot too. So I'm trying to use that. I have family members that have had family members in the past that when they grew older, they got almost bitter. They complained all the time, and they were so negative, and they just didn't care anymore. I'm old, it doesn't matter. And I thought, that's sad. Just because you're getting older, you still have things to contribute and things to do and contributions to make. And I didn't want to be that type of person. I wanted to be the other type. And the opposite, I'm looking across the street, this man in his 90s that always had been born in the house across the street. The loveliest 90-something-year-old man. We loved him. Young, old, male, female, just gathered toward him because he just was a joy to be around. And that really made me think too that I wanted to be that type of person. He had things go wrong in his life too, but he just never let it consume him. And other people that I had known had let the things and aging and whatever consume them. And I just thought that was sad because it would be circumstances they couldn't change, so they let it take over. And also when I'm putting it on my stomach where the Crohn's has always been on my intestines, and all these scars that I have as they've had to do all these surgeries over the years, removing parts of the diseased intestines, I tell my intestines, you're healthy, you're going to be strong. This is the end. No more Crohn's. I talk to it and I put my hands on there and tell it to behave. And like I said, it's not going to hurt. So that's one thing I've been doing, is a physical affirmation. And I think, like I said, it helps your mind. One thing about myself this is the second thing that I've always been like, but I'm really trying to consciously tap into it, is be satisfied with the simple things in life. I love that I live across the street and down the street from my grandchildren. I love cooking the Sunday dinners for them. I look around when I'm vacuuming and I think, oh my goodness, I love this piece of furniture. I love this so-and-so. I love the shutters on my windows. I like simple things. And I'm really, really trying to encourage that I like simple things. I've been talking to myself. I tell myself how lucky I am, how blessed I am that I get to see my grandchildren, I get to see my children, that get to see flowers that my husband grows, I get to smell the coffee that he roasts, the simple things. That has really helped to change a negative feeling about myself, to realize, well, you've done something right to get these simple blessings. You've not been a stupid person. You've not been a clumsy idiot. These are the things these are the words I attribute to myself. You've not been these things because you wouldn't have these blessings if you were. You wouldn't have children that wanted to be around you, or you wouldn't have grandchildren that enjoyed coming over. So that's another affirmation, realizing the blessings of the simple things, because a negative, horrible person that I think myself to be wouldn't have those. And that has helped a whole lot. Another thing that has helped, I don't always write it down, but keeping to a schedule has helped me to sort of feel better about myself. It always helped me to get my chores done, to get my typing done at work, to, do my laundry for my children, those simple things like that, getting back to the simple things. But I think sometimes when we get older, and especially when we don't go to work, or we work a little less or work more part-time, that we can, you start thinking, I don't have to get up at 6 anymore and be at the office, which is fun to do sometimes. It's fun to just sit around and watch videos and do this and that and let the day go by. But if I do that too much, I start doing these adjectives to myself. I'm so stupid. I'm so lazy. I'm just a slug. I start saying those things to myself. In contrast, if I stay on a bit of a schedule, I get up and I get dressed and I get my makeup on and my hair fixed and I go to the grocery or whatever I need to do, and vacuum or whatever I need to do in that schedule, at the end of the day, I actually will say to myself, I did good. I did a good job. And there you go. I've taken some negativity out of my life and out of my heart and replaced it with something positive. Another thing I think has been important to bring more positivity into my life, into my heart, is setting goals. So, I have this YouTube channel and I have certain goals for it. I have certain goals of cooking. I have certain goals of cleaning, doing spring cleaning. It doesn't have to be fancy goals. It can be simple goals. I have goals of wanting to knit a little summer sweater. I have goals of doing this. And I tell you, when you have goals, and you start going after those goals, you don't have time to be negative, and you don't have time to feel bad about yourself. You're busy and you're achieving something, and at the end, when the goal is met, even if it's not met, you tried. If the goal is met, and keep them simple, something that it's easy for you to achieve, but when you meet that goal, you are filled with this satisfaction and this positive feeling within yourself. It's just this negativity that those of us that are self-critical get inside ourselves that we have to get rid of. And it's going to have to be about affirmations, telling ourselves we're doing well and doing a good job. If you do have negative feelings about yourself and you really start to think of yourself as not worthwhile, not worth what you think others around you are worth. I think people that are self-sabotaging and have these negative thoughts and talk to themselves negatively have a tendency to compare ourselves to others. They've got a good education. They went on to become a doctor. They went on to do this. They run a marathon. It's such a self-sabotage. Not everybody can do everything. But when you start having these self-criticisms, if you can replace it with the things that are positive about yourself, I think that is so helpful. I have been trying to do that. I have a friend that's older than me that plays pickleball all the time. Well, with these legs, I can't go play pickleball right now. And I'm a bit jealous that she can do that. And so I'm comparing myself to her. This is something, and this is a talent that she can do. And there's things that I can do. And with us together, we have a lot to share with each other. And if you learn to start, I think, sharing instead of comparing, then that negativity is replaced with a more positive feeling that, hey, I contribute things too. I'm good at something too. It's a good feeling to know that I can't do that, but I can do this. I think having good habits is really important to take some negativity out of yourself. If you can, get up and, like I said, fix your hair and your makeup or whatever it is, but have good, like go to the dentist, go to the doctor, do your appointments, do your things that you should be to have healthy habits, walk, exercise to the best of your ability, eat as well as you can, eat as natural as you can. I think all these good habits will make you feel good physically, and therefore you will feel good deep down inside. So I think good habits are important too. And I do have to say, I've said all these other things. My number one thing is that I have God in my heart. And I think that helps me. When I feel negative, I will talk to God and tell Him, I feel like I'm stupid. I feel like I'm getting it out to Him. And that helps me so much. I don't talk about it too much because I have people of different religions that watch me and people that have lack of religion that watch me. And I never judge anybody. So I just share some things about my faith, and then mostly it's not a religious channel. It is a beauty channel. So, but I did want to mention that. And then the last one, find people that inspire you. Okay, I've got to tell you something of a young man, and I'm an older woman, a young elite athlete that inspires me. Several years ago, Doug and I were at a University of Tennessee football game, and there was this athlete called Inky Johnson. Inky is a nickname for his real name, which I don't even know what it is. But so he was just, we were so excited about watching him, and he was just right there in front of us, and he had made this play where he made a tackle and he didn't get up. And what had happened was he had torn something in his right shoulder, and it was extremely dangerous, and he almost died. I think he started like hemorrhaging or something inside from that. But from then on, and from now on and forever, that whole right shoulder and arm is paralyzed. It cannot do anything. So his elite career, athletic career, and NFL prospects, which he was probably going to have, were gone. Going to link an Instagram story that he did where he talks about it and says it is the best thing that happened to him, because he said when he woke up that morning, he was a strong, healthy athlete. He looked himself in the mirror and he was strong and healthy. And by the time nightfall fell, he was fighting for his life. So he talks about the Inky before the accident, and he talks about the Inky after the accident. And he just said it changed me, and I grew from it. I became the best person I could possibly be. I'm still growing. I'm still being challenged. He inspires me. Like I said, he is a young black man. I'm an older white woman, but this man inspires me daily. He has daily affirmations that he talks about. He does Instagram posts most days, and I read them and I am so inspired and just feel so much negativity leaving me, because I see what he's gone through and I see the man he is now, and he does inspire me. So I'm going to get off here. I hope that I can make this make sense, make it be a little cohesive when I go editing it. Just remember, those of you that feel that the way that I do, I can't say it to myself, but I will say it to you. You are worthy. You are worthy of happiness and a good life, and you are beautiful, and you are exciting and wonderful. So never forget that. And I'm learning to try to say it to myself, so we'll continue this journey together. Love you all. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate it so much, and have a beautiful, beautiful week. And take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.